You are listening to the Stop Binge Eating podcast with Kirstin Sarfde, episode number 15. Welcome to the Stop Binge Eating podcast. It's time for you to end your food obsession and begin feeling confident and in control around food. You are absolutely capable of eliminating binge eating from your life, and I'm going to show you how by giving you simple tools and insights that you can apply in your own life. I'm your host, Kirstin Sarfde. Now let's get to it. Hi, here we go again. Me talking to you and you enjoying every second of it. And I hope you're excited because today I got a good one for you. I'm talking about brain chatter about food. So many thoughts about food and eating, and we're going to make it stop already. It's such a waste of brain space and mental energy. So many times I can say I've sat there on my couch debating whether or not I'm going to go to the store and get food, or go to my kitchen and get food, or get food delivered. Or so many times I'd be with my friends, and instead of engaging in conversation, I'd be going back and forth in my head about whether or not I'm going to go eat after I leave them, or where I can get food, or what do I want. Too much thinking about food. And my clients tell me they think about food too much too. And they'd much rather spend their time thinking about more important things. And I get it. So did I. I had other goals and projects I wanted to think about, or conversations with friends I wanted to think about in the moment. But instead of thinking about them and putting my focus on them, it was all on food. It made my friend time and my me time way less fun. So why do we do it? Well, first of all, let's be realistic here. You're going to think about food. We eat however many times a day to fuel our bodies, and it's normal to eat just for pleasure sometimes too. So food thoughts are going to happen every day, multiple times a day. But it becomes a problem when they start consuming you. And it's mostly thoughts like, when am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? And how much am I going to eat? And when you're feeling an urge or a craving, it's, do I give in or don't I? Do I? Don't I? Back and forth. So many questions. And the problem is that most people don't even realize what they're actually doing. They're asking themselves questions and not answering them. So then what happens? They come back. It's like when a toddler asks you a question. If you don't answer it, they're not going to be satisfied until you do. They need to know the answer. Why, Mom? Why? Your brain wants questions to be answered too. And if you don't do it, then it's just going to keep bringing them back until you do. So if you don't answer them, you just exist in indecision and waste so much time there. Then, if it's not questions plaguing you, it's just the thought of a particular food that just keeps popping into your head. You just keep hearing, brownies. The thought of brownies won't go away. And I'd say the two main reasons why is because, number one, you're entertaining the idea that you might actually eat one and keeping that option open instead of shutting it down. And number two, because you're getting upset that you keep thinking about them. But why is it such a big deal that you're thinking about food? And why is it such a big deal that your brain keeps asking you questions? They're just thoughts and just questions, totally harmless. They're just sentences in your mind and nothing to get all worked up about, really. If your brain asks you when you're going to shower, is that a big deal? Or if you keep thinking about taking a shower, is that a big deal? The thing is that you probably don't mind all the shower talk. You think that's fine, but do not at all want to be thinking about those food thoughts. But again, food thoughts are going to happen. Food is a part of daily life multiple times. And what you choose to do with those thoughts can either make them super annoying or just whatever. So what if you just made a decision and then did what you decided? When are you going to eat? What are you going to eat and how much? Why not just decide right now and be done with it? End the madness. Answer your questions and make the decision right now. Don't wait any longer. You're going to eat around 1. That's when you're most likely going to be hungry. And you're going to eat chicken and sauteed vegetables with rice. And you're going to eat just that and nothing more. Questions answered. Decision made. Now, if the question comes back up, you can just remind yourself of what you decided and move on. No big deal. Now, when it comes to making decisions in general, I think it's a best practice to make your decisions as far ahead of time as you can, when you're in a clean emotional space, feeling motivated and clear, rather than when you're in the moment, feeling tired, stressed, or unmotivated, or when you're feeling cravings and urges. Right now, make your decisions for what you're going to do when you feel that urge or craving. Don't wait until it happens and then wing it. What are you going to think about when you feel it? Because what you'll think about is the most important thing to plan in this situation. Decide now. And then this decision is non-negotiable when it happens. Make a plan, remind yourself, and then stick to it. Then, when it comes to food and all those questions about what, when, and how much you're going to eat, the more planning you can do, the better. For meals, I say try to plan it all at least the day before if you can. Know exactly what you're going to eat for the whole day so you don't even have to think about it. Take all those decisions that you usually make throughout the day and make all of them in a matter of minutes ahead of time. No more questioning everything. You already know. What am I going to have for lunch? No need to obsess or worry about it. I already decided that yesterday. Then you have your joy foods. What's a joy food, you ask? Well, there's two types of foods, and they're not good food and bad food. They're fuel and joy. A joy food is anything that is eaten for pure enjoyment. It most likely doesn't have any nutritional value or not much, but tastes delicious. And here's what I recommend you do with your joy foods. Have no more than one a day in any amount that you feel good about, and plan those ahead of time too. Preferably at least 24 hours in advance. And here's why. If you're making a conscious, planned decision to eat it when you're in a clean emotional space, then you will have much less regret and guilt about it when you actually eat it. You're not reacting to feelings, urges, desires, and cravings. You've instead made a conscious decision to eat it. And for reasons you like, not reasons like it was there or I just wanted it. You know you're going to a birthday party on Sunday. You decided now that you're going to eat one piece of cake because you really like cake and you think one piece would be the perfect amount and you want to enjoy it with everyone. So you're there and it's cake time and there's no questioning it and there's no feeling badly about it. And you better savor the crap out of it. Do not set yourself up for food amnesia by scarfing it down too quickly or not paying attention to it. Joy foods are meant to be enjoyed, so make sure that you do it. And planning your joy foods ahead of time will also help with those random recurring thoughts about brownies that I talked about earlier. Your brain says brownies, and then you get to say, not today. I have a different joy food planned. And then you can plan to have brownies another day. So you're not saying no, never, I can't have brownies, which, as we know, leads to feeling restricted and deprived and sets you up for a binge later. You're just acknowledging your decision that you already made for you to have something else, and then deciding when you're going to have that brownie you want. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's a week from now. It's totally up to you, depending on how often you want to be eating joy foods. You don't have to eliminate joy foods from your life. Again, that's going to lead you down the path to a binge on those exact foods. So make room for them in your life in a planned, conscious way. You don't want to just eat them when we're feeling cravings, urges, and desire. Decisions ahead of time. They're going to save you from so much mental food chatter, and they'll help you feel good about eating joy foods. But once you've made those decisions, then comes the most important part and also the hardest part. You've decided what you're going to think when you feel an urge. You've decided what you're going to eat for meals, and you've decided what joy foods you're going to eat and when. Now you have to stick to that decision. You have to do what you said you were going to do. So often we don't. And what does this do? It makes us lose trust in ourselves and weakens our relationship with ourselves. Just like if someone else kept not doing what they said they would, you'd stop trusting them too, and your relationship would suffer. It's time for you to start honoring your own commitments to yourself, to not go back on your word to yourself no matter what. You don't feel like it? Too bad. Are you going to back out of your commitment to drive your friend to the airport at 5 a.m. the morning of because you're tired and don't feel like it? Heck no. You go and do it anyway because you're a good friend. Be a good friend to yourself, even if you don't feel like it. What also happens when you don't honor your decisions that you made ahead of time is that you create even more decisions. Now you're deciding whether to go with your original decision or make a new one, and going back and forth about it, creating more unnecessary, unwanted brain chatter. Stop the nonsense and don't do that to yourself. Making decisions ahead of time is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. You're going to have to make a decision at some point anyway, so why not just do it ASAP and get it out of the way? And don't let your eating questions swirl around in your head. Answer them and move on. And make realistic plans for yourself that you like when you're making them and that you'll also want to follow through on when the time comes. And most importantly, honor your commitments instead of going back on your word. Do things you've committed to for yourself, even if you don't feel like it in the moment, because you know it's what you really want to do. Now go take a few moments to make some decisions for yourself. And remember, you're always just one decision away. One decision away from not giving into an urge. One decision away from stopping eating. One decision away from thinking a thought that will make you feel acceptance of yourself. So be clear about what decisions you want to be making. And my goodness, please don't make your decision to be indecision. All right. Have a wonderfully decisive week. And if you haven't subscribed to this podcast yet, then make sure you do it so you never miss an episode. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Stop Binge Eating podcast. If you like what you heard today and you want more, go to coachkir.com/free. That's COACHKIR.com/free to get some awesome free stuff to help you stop binge eating.